Hey guys, and welcome to April 2020 Energetic Insights. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Depika Mystery. And since September 2019, I've been sharing energetic insights on a month-by-month basis. And this is really geared up for those of you that are becoming more and more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic side and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. Wow, are we not living in some pretty interesting times at the moment? Boy, oh boy, and there's so much going on in April. Before I go in and share with you what I kind of got for April, let's take a moment to recap on March because I feel that some of you guys will still be feeling the effects of March coming through in April as well. So if you find someone that is finding yourself still quite fearful and finding yourself maybe self-sabotaging yourself or struggling with communication within yourself and with others, or really experiencing this energy, the heart energy opening up. So around maybe you may be struggling with self-love or sharing your love or receiving love. If that sounds like you, take a moment and have a look at the beginning of March energetic insight. There's some tools and tips within that will help you to navigate these times for you. And also, if you are really caught up within the collective experience or individual experience and feeling a little bit confused by that, have a look at the special editions insights. There's some information and some tools within that will help you in these interesting times. Right, let's go into April. There is so much that's going on, so let's start. So the first thing I got is that we are all going to be experiencing the surrendering process. Whoa. And what do I mean by the surrendering process? There are a number of different stages to the surrendering process. So many of us will, initially find ourselves in denial of what's actually going on with everything, with the way that our lives have changed. Some of us will be feeling that our world has been tipped upside down. But some of us may still just be in denial, like nothing is going on, everything is normal, it'll be back to normal in like a couple of weeks' time or whatever it is. So some of us may still be experiencing some of this denial. Once we kind of get through the denial phase, there is almost like a phase of where we're fighting to try and get back hold of what we had. And if we're not doing that, we might find ourselves busying ourselves or finding things that we are self-distracting, right? And once we're able to acknowledge that and accept that maybe that's what we're doing, we're then able to move into this phase of acceptance. And as we move into phase of acceptance, we then may move into this phase of grieving and mourning and really getting in touch with our feelings and what we're feeling. And as we do that, this new space gets created. And as a new space gets created, there's a flow of freedom, abundance, creativity. And really, this is what the surrendering process is at a very high level. So it's denial, there's a sense of fighting, self-distraction, then there's a sense of acknowledgement, acceptance, then it moves into grief and feeling feeling all your feelings. And then you step into this stage of the space around you, and then as there's space around you, then the energy starts to flow, the energy of freedom, abundance, and creativity, and more. So many of us will be going through these stages maybe once, maybe several times, and it doesn't matter who you are, each and every one of us is going to experience this in various different levels, and some of us are going to get stuck in the various different phases. So one of the key things is that what I'm going to share with you now is just to help you to recognize what phase that you might be going through so that you can allow yourself to go through the surrendering process. And the surrendering process will just help alleviate maybe the feeling of stress, the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of fear that you might be feeling. So this is a process, and many of us, when things change, we have to kind of go through this surrendering process, and most times we're not even aware of it. So hopefully what I share with you next will help you to identify where you might be in the surrendering process so that you can help yourself move along the process without judgment, with kindness and with gentleness. And sometimes all you really need is to acknowledge where it is that you are in the process. That will just help you to move along the process without knowing how to move on to the next stage. So this is not about moving from one stage to another stage to another stage. It's really about acknowledging wherever it is that you are. Okay, so for many of us, when we are in the state of denial, it's almost like as if nothing has changed. And what happens is that some of us may be experiencing this sense of, can't wait to get back to normal, and fighting to say, like, I want to grab hold of the life that I had, because that is my normal. I want my normal life back. I really want that back. So many of us might be experiencing that. We might actually be saying, I can't wait to get back to normal. So maybe there's a part of us that's still fighting to hold on to what we've had. So if we're holding on to what we haven't quite accepted that we are in a phase that there's a whole new normals coming out. And that's the next bit I'm going to talk to you about, because it kind of overlaps the surrendering process. So one of the things is to recognize, are you in that stage where you're fighting to get your old life back and trying to get hold of that? If it is, that is okay. Just acknowledge that that's exactly where you are at the moment. And some of us, we may have accepted that, we may not get the life back. However, we haven't fully accepted that we are in this process. Excuse the noise. I think my neighbor's walking up and down at the top, so you might be catching some of that noise. So we may be in this self-distraction state. So what does self-distraction kind of look like? So it's a place where we might find ourselves that we haven't fully accepted that there's going to be a new normal. So what we're doing is we're keeping ourselves busy. So what has happened, what's going on in the world with everything with COVID-19, it is actually getting us on an energetic level to really, 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 really slow down and start to see ourselves and the world around us in a whole new perspective. And that also means that whatever that we've kind of swept underneath the carpet, or the our scary skeletons that we've hidden in the closet or locked away, we're starting to see aspects of ourselves that we may not be ready to see or want to quite acknowledge at the moment. So what we might find ourselves doing is finding other things to keep ourselves busy. And if it's not that, we may be sitting and says, well, I'm bored at the moment, or you might be feeling agitation, or you might be frustrated with, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this has happened to me, or you may be experiencing this inability to kind of relax, or an itchy sensation or discomfort with where you are at the moment. So if that sounds like you, one of the things that you can do is start to have a look at, okay, so what is behind the boredom? What is behind the agitation? What is behind the frustration? Why am I feeling frustrated? Why am I feeling boredom? What is it? What are these sensations that I'm feeling? What is it masking? What are the things that I'm not willing or yet ready to see? And just kind of sit with it and explore it. And just by asking these questions, you will start to kind of move through it. You'll start to move through the boredom. You'll start to move through the agitation. You'll start to move through the frustration. So the key thing here is not to stop yourself from getting bored, or stop yourself from being agitated, or stop yourself from being frustrated. It's actually acknowledging this is what I'm feeling right now, right? And allowing yourself to move through it. And to be able to move through it is to have a look what's behind it. So you're kind of doing like a root cause analysis to kind of see what is behind it. The key thing is acknowledgement, acknowledging that this is where you are. And also being okay with wherever you are in the moment, and also being okay with not being okay. Many of us are going to be feeling helpless, or I don't know where to go from here, or I don't know what to do from here. I have no idea. And there's this real uncertainty. And if that is you, just be okay with it, knowing that each day will bring you clarity. So this is where a greater level of trust within yourself and trust in the bigger picture that we may not be able to see right now will come in really, really, really handy. And so the more that we're able to acknowledge what we're feeling and accepting, the more we're able to move into grief. One of the things is that we do not give ourselves enough permission to grieve or mourn whatever it is that we need to mourn. And I think here is a really important time to allow yourself to grieve for the life that you had, right? Give yourself permission. And sometimes grieving will look different for all of us, you know. For some of us, it's one afternoon of really good crying, or speaking to a friend and just letting it out, like what we're missing, what we no longer have. For some of us, it may take a couple of days. For others, it will be like a repetitive process that one day we're okay, and then several days later, we may feel grief again. And whoever you are, whatever it is that you're feeling, know that however you're processing grief is perfect for you, okay? And another part of this is really allow yourself to express whatever it is that you're feeling, right? Do not suppress it, and just recognize whether you are suppressing it. So one of the ways that you can express it is just acknowledge, oh, I'm feeling this today. This is where I'm feeling in the body. This is how it feels in my body. This is what it makes me think. This is, you know, these are the things that it creates within me. These are the thoughts that it creates within me, and this is the feeling that I'm feeling. And, you know, just share it with someone that is close to you. And if you've got no one, if you've got a therapist, share it with your therapist or your coach or your energy healer. It's really important just to share what it is that you're experiencing and what it is that you're feeling. And if you find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again, just be mindful of it, because you may be recreating that feeling over and over again. So you might be stuck in a pattern. So just be aware. I think that is the greatest thing that I can share with you in terms of the surrendering process. It is going to raise your level of self-awareness to a whole other new level. And with the surrendering process, there is this new normal that is going to be created. And what I mean by this new normal? I mean, what I saw energetically was this amazing blank canvas that is going to be placed in front of us with loads of different colored pens, loads of different paintbrushes, loads of different paints. And we've got this opportunity to create a whole brand new normal, a new life for ourselves. And to be honest, this is going to be pretty scary for some of us. And some of us may be feeling overwhelmed. So what we may do is turn ourselves around and start fighting for the life that we've got. So this is why the surrendering process overlaps. So it may be that we can only look at this blank canvas for a minute or one day, and then for the rest of the week we're back into fighting for what we had. And that is okay. But just know that each time you come around to this blank canvas, that you can spend as long as you want with it. And the more you spend time with this blank canvas, the more comfortable you're going to get. And just remember, right? You are a creative being, right? You are the creator of your life. And I think it's very easy to forget that when things change around us without us initiating that change, right? And change is difficult for us. It's not always easy, but just know that whether it's us that's initiated the change or something bigger than us that's initiated that change within us, just know there are certain things that you can control, and allow yourself to focus on the things that you can control rather than focusing on your attention on the things that you can't control. So one of the things that will help you to create this new normal is just acknowledging that there is a new routine that you're going to have to create. One of the things personally that I found, though, you know, some things in my life haven't changed, but other things have, I really had to create a brand new routine. And that has really helped ground me. And I think that is one of the simple things that we can do, is to create a brand new routine in terms of when do we have lunch, dinner, because most of us are going to be cooking at home now. And if you have children that are now at home, and you as parents are working from home, that is, you know, it's going to take some time. But just acknowledge it. It's going to take some time, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible. Everything is possible, right? And those of you that are single, you may struggle with not being able to see your friends at the moment and being locked up in your own apartments. But just know that you will get through this. And what you're going to find is a whole new depth to your relationship with your family members, and also a relationship with yourself. So there's some really great things that are coming out of it. And so one of the key things that I can say is just take each day as it comes. Really acknowledge, what is it that I'm feeling today? where is that feeling coming from? You know, what can I do today? And really be grateful for the ways that the connections, what's happening is that I'm seeing that this is the next part of the April insight, that there's a whole new level of human connection that's coming through. So really each day, take the time to acknowledge the connection and appreciate what it is that you have, rather than focusing on the things that you don't have. And this will help you with the blank canvas, and all of this kind of prepares you for this blank canvas. And then what will happen is that there's an excitement that will start come through to you, and you can start painting and you can start creating your new normal. And so if you struggle to visualize this or understand this on an energetic level, one of the practical things that you can do is get yourself a painting kit or a drawing kit and just do things that are creative, like painting, like dancing, like playing music or learning a new instrument, something that is creative. And what that will do will help you to create this new normal life of yours for you. So with this and the surrendering process together, know that the more that you surrender, the more the new normal becomes. And bear in mind, there's going to be a new normal each day. So whatever you have today, there may be a new normal tomorrow, and that is okay. This is part of the process. So allow yourself to get more and more excited about that. And as you do that, more and more, you become more and more free and more creative. So there's beautiful energies around this that is actually supporting us as we go through this process, right? And if you're struggling and if you're finding it hard, you know what? It is absolutely okay. Just acknowledge where you are, knowing that you are supported. And you know what? We are never going to experience anything that we're not ready for. Okay? So whatever you're experiencing it, you have the power and you have the tools within you to get through this, right? So really remember that. And this experience right now is really getting us to trust our own inner guidance, and we have a lot within us that we don't even know that we have. So moving on from that, there is this great, beautiful, powerful human connection that is happening at the moment. So many of you guys would have noticed, I mean, I certainly noticed it in just really small doses. I've noticed that, you know, my people that I haven't been able to see, I can feel more love flowing from them through, you know, the text messages, through the video conferencing call that I'm having. And even in the supermarket, there's a whole new level of connection and awareness. I know the other day there was, you know, we still got the 2-meter distancing rule within the supermarket, and someone says, you know, at my side, it's like, oh, do you mind if I can go and grab that? And so I had to move across. But even then we started a conversation of laughing about the 2-meter distance, but also respecting it as well at the same time. But we would never have had that conversation in the first place if it was any other normal day. So there is this amazing, beautiful human connection that's being created, like even within families. So I know some of you guys are really struggling at the moment with being home with your children and being in a crowded space, and some of you may be feeling this anxiety and the fear around, you know, being in confined spaces with your family. But know that there's a deeper level of connection that is happening. And one thing I do want to acknowledge, which I forgot to mention before, around the grieving process, if you have children, bear in mind that your children will also be grieving. They'll be grieving not being able to go to school. They'll be missing their friends. They'll be missing their playtime. They'll be missing that. So really be mindful of that. And even if they act out and acknowledge it, just be able, as a parent, try and hold space for them. And the thing is, you're going to go through the same process as what your kids are doing. So just be kind to each other and just acknowledge it. And I feel that your kids will also hold that space for you, because they'll also be able to sense these things that are going on. So this is what I mean, that there's going to be a greater level of human connection, because in some ways we are all coming together because we're all having the same kind of collective experience. So there's a greater level of love and there's a greater level of connection. And with this comes this sense of oneness, that we're not separate, we are one, because we're having the same kind of collective experience. And with that, you will start to notice that there is more compassion. People be more thoughtful to each other, be more kind towards each other. There's a whole new level of respect, and there's a whole new level of where we're each helping each other out in ways that we probably never would have done before. And also our perception of people is changing. You know, maybe there was like somebody in your life where you would have looked down to, but now with this experience that we're having, you're on the same level. With this also, what will be happening is that you will actually start to acknowledge what is really important in your life. There'll be some connections that will deepen, and there'll be some connections that will just go in its own separate way, and that is okay. And that kind of leads me on to the last part of this. I'm just watching the time, and it's quite a long one today. It's really, April is going to be a really great time and a period for reflection and gratitude. And those two things go really hand in hand. So if you can create a daily practice of self-reflection and gratitude, it's really going to help you to get through these interesting times at the moment. And I'm saying interesting times because it is interesting, although I know it is difficult for some of you guys out there. But bear in mind, there are, whether we see it now or not, there are many, many, many hidden gifts in this moment. Every moment has hidden gifts. Sometimes it takes us a while before we can actually see it. So what does the practice of reflection and gratitude will do is will allow us to be able to see things from a whole new perspective. You know, so if you're not practicing gratitude, just take a moment each day, even if it's one thing that you write down that you're grateful for, that the fact that it's sunny, the fact that you had food on the table, the fact that somebody smiled at you. Just be grateful for whatever it is that you've experienced in that day. And the more grateful you are, the more amazing experiences are going to come through into your life without you actually realizing that. One of the other things is that as we reflect on our days, some of us will also be reflecting on our past. Maybe it's the past month, maybe it's the past year, maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to see our life in a way that we've never ever seen it before or been able to experience it before. We are going to be able to see a greater level of love that we have had in our life, greater level of, we're going to see it in such a positive light. And the gifts, it's almost like over our lives, we're going to be able to see the gift that our life has been for us up until this point, something that we've never ever experienced or seen before. So as you practice this reflection and gratitude on a day-to-day basis, you know, you may even experience your whole life, and some of you may actually start to see your life in a whole new perspective. Anyway, I know that was a long insights for April. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it useful. If you have loved this insight, please do go ahead, share, comment below, and love, whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. I'd really appreciate that. And stay tuned. There is some new stuff that is coming out, hopefully tomorrow on Sunday, if not on Monday. And yes, thank you again for watching. Sending you guys lots and lots of love. Take care of yourself and take care of those around you. Bye bye for now.